capture overall was done correctly, and all the images did solve, except, again, no scale bars, color checkers shot the way that we need them to. So if you go back and redo that, what I would do is place the color checker and scale bars down on the ground here next to it, and shoot those, including the surrounding ground, and shoot the surrounding rocks above it and part of the sculpture itself. And you want overlap just like you would normally with all the photogrammetry. Now, in looking at this object, ideally, if you're going to go back and shoot it, and it was one of the notes I made, is that even though it's a good capture overall, if we want to improve this solve, and I would love to improve the solve, is bring a ladder and get some high up shots. Get some shots, because what we don't have, if you look at all the images here, are any images looking down at the object. So I'm not getting a good resolve, a good texture or surface resolve of the object here or in here. You can see that the texture actually looks soft and broken, and that's because we don't have any angles of images from there. So the software is just trying its best to figure out what might be there, but that's not accurate.
Okay, so, ellos lo que te dicen es, can you please put the image where you are suggesting him?
Right here.
So, ellos lo que te dicen es que, bueno, fíjate, ellos ya tienen adelantado esto y ahí se ven donde has puesto las cámaras. Te dice que allí donde te están señalando es donde deberías volver y colocar la escala y los color checkers y fotografiar este lado, ese lado que está mostrando ellos. El piso, o sea, el suelo, tanto del suelo como puedas, un poquito más, te vas acercando y fotografías hacia arriba, de manera que ellos puedan completar por lo menos de ese lado, y ya con eso tienen pues los detalles de esa pieza, pues, ¿no? Okay.
So, yeah. So let's see. So that, and then, when I create a new model, I will have the color checker and scale bar with a little more ground here. So that will then be included in the solve.
O sea, ella lo que colocaría es, pues, en el piso, en el suelo, en el área del suelo, colocaría el color checker y la escala para que de esa manera pueda tenerse la referencia.
And then one of the things that, I do like about this solve and that's important to remember is one of the things, especially when shooting buildings, that I've noticed, like when the cross was shot and one of the larger buildings, was they were shooting all one side only, and then the next day they would go back and shoot all one side only. The problem there becomes we might not get the correlation of the overlap between one side to the other. And what's done correctly here is they went ahead and worked around the object completely from a distance to capture the whole thing in a circular pattern. And this works really well and allows you to capture the entire object all on one day rather than breaking it up into 4 separate solves. And then you can always go back another day and shoot your details closer up.
So what you're saying is that it's good to do this in like in one shot, and then in another day to do closer, or
you don't have to. I mean, if you can go back, do the closer ups even on the same day, that's great. But yeah, if it's such a big object that you're going to have to split it up, the first day go and shoot your overall. Don't start shooting details, because then you'll end up forgetting what you shot, what you haven't shot. And what happens, what works well with this this technique is you get your overall first, and then the details are easier to solve within the software.
So when you go back, they definitely need. I mean, definitely this piece needs more details. It
would help? Yes, it's a good overall solve.
Yeah, but I think that Krista was using this as an example of a piece that's good, though, in terms of the way that it's
good the way it was shot. It can use improvements from the top down because no top down shots were done. But overall, the way that it was shot was good. That he worked around the entire object at one level, worked around it again at another level, and worked around it again at another level, rather than trying to split it up on 4 different sides.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, okay.
So, ella estaba mostrando que la forma como se abordó esta pieza está muy bien hecha porque se está haciendo en forma circular sobre todo el objeto, se ha rodeado todo el objeto y la escultura pues está en una sola sesión, se ha capturado toda. Que si se quisiera mejorar, una de las formas es o bien en una segunda sesión acercarse más para tomar detalles o tener la posibilidad de en la misma sesión acercarse, como esa idea que ella tenía del espiral, de ir acercándose un poco más, para tener más detalles. No es imprescindible, ella lo está mostrando como una buena solución, o sea, como una buena toma de fotogrametría. Dice que quizás le faltaron detalles aquí en el tope y en la parte superior, ¿no? Tanto en la cabeza como en la parte superior de la imagen, como en la parte superior de del pedestal, ¿no? Los objetos que hemos hecho y que han tenido alguna observación hay que repetirlos una vez más. So they're asking, Jorge is asking if he needs to repeat the object that has some observations. I guess it's just to complete. Is that correct?
Do you know which object Jorge did? Because we might have it.
¿A cuál objeto te refieres particularmente? Jorge, are you there?
El Simón Bolívar del Palacio de los Leones. Creo que había una observación de que en el tope de arriba no hice suficiente fotografía, fueron unos detalles pequeños. Y claro, el escalímetro y el color check.
So he's asking about the Simón Bolívar, that he didn't take the complete head and he didn't include the color checker. So those were
anything that he reshot with the color checker and scale bar, I would highly love that. I would highly recommend it, and that would be wonderful.
But he doesn't have to, if he has anything that's existing, we can add to what he has.
Yeah.
I would just add, I think that people really need to understand it. I know that it seems like sometimes we're throwing out a couple of different concepts that might be contradictory, but the idea is like when we were talking earlier about the sides, what we've noticed, like a great example is Francisco. We will show him the cross soon, but if you look at the photos with the cross, he did each side separately, and then there was no kind of overlap between the sides. So because he didn't go in a circle, we have a hard time connecting the sides together.
I had to manually connect them together with what we call tie points, manual tie points.
So what we're trying to convey is that it's fine for people to do it in sections. They can do it in certain sections and come back a different day and do this and do that. But they shouldn't feel like they're constricted to doing a particular side and then doing another side. They can go and do a round right around the top, and then come back and do a round closer to the bottom, and then come back and do a round on, from overhead, and we can put them all together. But it's very difficult when they're kind of compartmentalizing it to one plane, because then when they're doing the other sides, it's hard to connect the planes. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I understand. So what you're saying is basically you prefer always that if you do it in parts, always doing surrounding the object than one side and the other side. Is what
well, if possible. I understand that maybe it's not possible, right? It depends on the object and what their access is, but at the very least, they should try to go around the object and do a couple of rounds if they can, so that we can make it easier for the software to connect it all.
So for example, if it's a building with 4 sides, don't think of it as 4 flat planes. it's still a three-dimensional object. So you want to see that overlap between the different sides, and you want to initially go ahead and shoot it all the way around, you know, on a few different levels initially, and then start moving in and getting your details.
Yeah, so when they're doing the detail, they can keep it like onto the plane, but that's later. That they really want to try to get an overall if you can. So that way the software, we won't be stitching things together manually.
Okay, let me translate that because it's so, sobre lo primero, las piezas que le faltaron, las escalas y que le faltaron algunos detalles, sí, hay que volver. No hay que hacer la pieza completa, hay que hacer, son imágenes suficientes donde esté la escala y se pueda completar con un número de imágenes el objeto para que puedan tener la referencia del tamaño. Es decir, hay que hacer otras tomas, no repetido completo, sino una parte. Ahora, ellos aprovecharon para explicar que cuando ustedes hacen objetos grandes, la forma de tratarlos no es que agarren el objeto y si tiene el objeto 4 caras es una cara, la otra cara y la otra cara. Porque luego a ellos les cuesta hacer el empate entre una y otra, porque no hay superposición de imágenes entre un lado y el otro. O sea, no es simplemente que haces esta cara, le pones la mano acá y pasas a la otra. Luego ellos dicen, bueno, ¿cómo yo conecto esto con esto, este pedazo, no? Ellos la forma que sugieren, si es posible, en los casos que sea posible, es que siempre existan, como por ejemplo, si es un objeto que se puede rodear, siempre habrá dificultades dependiendo del tipo de objeto, pero que se haga una toma general, después otra, o sea, como varias tomas generales en diferentes áreas, y después se va haciendo tomas más cercanas donde se van tomando los detalles. Mientras sean más circulares todas, mejor. Si no se pueden hacer de esa manera, siempre tomar en cuenta que si vas a hacer un lado y otro, tiene que ocurrir una superposición de imágenes, es decir, que tendrá que existir unas imágenes quizás en el medio de estos dos lados, o que se arranque de este lado y se pueda continuar al otro para que ellos puedan pegar. O sea, tienen que imaginarse que es como una colcha donde hay retazos, o sea, tienen que ir cosiendo de un lado al otro, y si hay un hueco ahí, bueno, tienen que, ¿cómo se completa? Pues hay que ponerle algo para que se sepa cómo terminó. Quisiera saber en el caso de Mérida que tenemos que hacer esta es Marinela. En el caso de Mérida tenemos que hacer las tomas con la escala y la carta de colores. Marinela, esto está respondido. Ya se ha dicho que sí, pero quiero saber si sientes que está respondida la respuesta, la pregunta. ¿Para ti está respondido, Marinela?
Sí, perfecto.
Perfecto, ok. Luis Chacín, en el caso de la cochera de Quinto Anauco, me tocó realizar por separado las esquinas que se conectan para que se conectaran las caras. Fíjese, Luis está haciendo esta observación que le tocó hacer las esquinas para que una cara se conectara con la otra. So Marinela is the one that of the solve you just were showing, the one before, with the Humberto Tejera monument, and she was asking if she needed to do the scale. She already knows that yes, because you have already answered that. But since her monument is kind of complex, I would like you to show where exactly would you recommend the scale and everything to put in the.
Is this the one? Is this the one?
Yeah,
Ana
that's
Maria?
the one done by her. So
First of all, this was a wonderful job. Really well shot. I love that, overall you look at it and you can see the cameras on the outside capturing the entire environment. First, she's got multiple levels here capturing the overalls. And then if you go in closer, you can see that there are more cameras in getting the details. And even, details on the hand and the head, difficult areas to see. So wonderful job. I would say, in going back to shoot the scale bar color checker, it could be placed really just down here on the ground.
allí donde está señalando ella ahorita.
On either side. It's because the dirt within here isn't really part of the sculpture. It's not, interfering it in any way. We can always paint it out and have it as sort of a layer of, of visibility. for an interactive experience to show exact scale.
So, I mean, I would say that this,
but just right here.
Krista, would you agree that this is probably our best example, that we should use this as sort of the gold standard for what people...
This was absolutely a wonderful solve.
Other than the scale bars, she did everything perfectly.
Yeah. All this needs is color checker and scale bars. The everything shot was fantastic. The details were really good.
Yeah, especially if you could explain to the group, Ana Maria, that the head and the hands, how she went back for those, that was perfect.
And got a lot more details on, specific areas that were needed, and, thought about lower angles that the camera, just from a straight on shot, might not see. So again, I feel like she was really thinking of the camera as a scanner in many ways here. So yeah, great job.
Bueno, te felicitan enormemente por este trabajo, les parece estupendo. Ellos dicen que este trabajo debe ser como usado de ejemplo, porque si pueden ver como en las tomas generales hay como unas imágenes muy externas como generales de esto, como pueden ver esas camaritas que se ven. Ellos fueron haciendo esa espiral y cada vez agarrando más detalle, y el nivel de detalle y toda la complejidad, o sea, ellos dicen que ese trabajo está estupendo en cuanto al nivel de acercamiento y el nivel de detalle que se obtuvieron del objeto y su contexto, ¿no? El sitio donde ellos colocarían la escala de color sería en la base, allí donde, a un lado de la base, porque a pesar de que es parte del suelo y de lo que han hecho en la solución, no hay interferencia con la escultura. Y eso de alguna manera permite que ellos luego puedan recomponer un poquito el suelo y quitarlo, pero les permite dar la imagen. Pero fíjense cómo todas las cámaras, incluso súper cerca, súper lejos, da detalles de la mano. O sea, ellos usaron muy bien el concepto de considerar que la cámara es un escáner. O sea, ustedes tienen que pensar cuando van haciendo la cantidad de fotos, eso, que la cámara es un escáner. Let me see if there are other questions. Voy a ver si hay otras preguntas. Frank, nos perdimos la explicación de las piezas grandes. Vamos a explicarlas de nuevo entonces. Vamos a decir, más unas tomas más. Ya va. Yo en principio hice cara a cara. Francisco. Más unas tomas rodeando la pieza. No entiendo esta pregunta, Francisco. ¿Puedes hacerla en voz alta para ver si te entiendo? Disculpa. La pregunta que haces sobre Francisco. La pregunta que haces...
sí, le decía que si a la Cruz de San Clemente las tomas que faltan sería básicamente a nivel del piso, que es donde se va a poner la escala y el color cheque. La cosa de no volver a llevarme los andamios y volver a subir, sino completar el trabajo con las tomas más bajas, pues, que es donde se va a poner en la escala y el color cheque. Y la otra secuencia, una rodeando la pieza para ver si se completan las esquinas.
Ok, entonces son dos preguntas, es ¿dónde se coloca? Y si tienes que hacer la secuencia de las esquinas, ¿no? Son las dos preguntas, ¿no?
No, o sea, para completar las tomas que me faltan, y básicamente tengo que trabajar a nivel del piso, o sea, a nivel bajo, cosa que ahí es donde va a ir la regla y el color cheque. Esto lo pregunto porque así no tengo que llevarme los andamios para subir otra vez.
Okay. So, Luis is asking this. Francisco. Francisco is asking about the Cruz de San Clemente Cross, the one that is like in the cage. So,
yes.
So what he's asking is, does he have to, so since he didn't include well the scales and the color checkers, so he's going to place that in the floor. But since the cross is very high and he used a scaffold, and so does he have to bring that, or is it okay that he just used like the pictures with the scales and just the floor on the floor level?
Yeah, that would be fine. Just place it on the floor and, you know, shoot around it, include some of the bottom of the cross section, and, just give me, a good amount of overlap with those images. But yeah, he doesn't need to shoot any of the top of that.
But we're planning to send him separately. We're planning to send him an email once. We were hoping to have the solve of it done. Like I said, we had that crash. But what we did notice was he was doing the planer thing where he was shooting everything on 4 sides. And then we had to kind of put everything together. Now it's just a learning process. We got it to work.
Does he have to do like the corners now? Probably.
It would be great if he could, but he doesn't have to. And he doesn't have to go get scaffolding anymore. Maybe just, I'll let Krista talk, sorry.
Yeah.
From the floor?
Doesn't need the scaffolding at all. So just shooting the bottom section with the scale bars on the ground is great. I would say that, since he's going to plan to go back, if he can shoot some further away and kind of up at the top, this separate from the scale bar issue, the only area that's not resolving well is the roof. And I know that's because he can't, even with the scaffolding, couldn't get up that high. One of the ways I've found to fix that is if he's got a longer lens and he can go across the street and shoot some higher, some shots, correlating shots with the overlap from a further distance, he might actually be able to get shots of the roof without having to get on a ladder or anything.
Okay, let me translate that. No hace falta el andamio, Francisco. Entonces, dicen que fotografías el piso con esto y hagas la cantidad suficiente de fotos como para que ellos puedan relacionar la escala con el sitio y vayan pues completando esto. Trata de rodear el sitio, sí, para que pues se vea la relación de la escala con el sitio, ¿no? Con la cruz. Ahora, ellos, respecto a las esquinas, que en efecto ahí está hueca las esquinas y se hace falta, ellos te van a mandar de todas maneras un email separado y de todas maneras ellos estaban trabajando en la solución de esto, pero como se les quedó dañada la computadora por el fin de semana, pues tienen que solucionarlo. Pero ellos lo que te dicen es que no hace falta tampoco que te lleves el andamio para hacer las esquinas, que tú puedes hacer tomas de mayor distancia o desde el piso, pero siempre pensando en la superposición, es decir, que hagas esto con la superposición y te vas alejando como para que ellos puedan tener suficiente información de las imágenes de los lados. Entonces eso te permite, fíjate aquí como, por cierto, estas imágenes que están mostrando son imágenes bastante generales que ayudan pues a completar. Entonces, como que te alejes lo suficiente como para que completes esta imagen grande y puedan ellos completar esas esquinas. Y bueno, te acerques y lo puedes hacer desde abajo. Mientras siempre tengas la superposición, funciona. Y respecto al techo, que saben que por supuesto ni siquiera con el andamio llegabas, te recomiendan ver si te puedes ir al otro lado de la calle y con un lente más largo, si lo tienes, con un zoom o lo que sea, tratar de acercarte lo más que puedas al techo. Siempre o sea, lo que sea que tú agregues, acuérdate de hacer la correlación con imágenes generales, es decir, que siempre vayas como con una imagen un poco más grande y te vas acercando para que ellos puedan pegar ese pedazo en donde va. ¿Quedó claro? Sí, okay. So, let me see if there are other questions. La obra que se realizó Marinela con una cámara compacta, que fue muy buen trabajo, sí, ciertamente. Fue la primera que hicimos, dice Marinela, excelente.
I think they get to see us in the small one, but yeah.
So I think, si tienen otras preguntas, colóquenlas por acá o la dicen en voz alta. I think there are no more questions so far, but if you want to throw any other...
What I'm going to do is send the images over of the Berlin Wall that I shot with the color checker, since that's a larger scale object. If they just want to peruse through those and see how I went about shooting that, and including the color checker and scale bars, which are mixed on the ground with that.
Yeah.
So we'll send those.
Yeah, we'll send those to you, Anna Maria, and then if you could just forward to whoever, we'll send it to Luis and Frank. Also, this is I just pulled this one up because we get to see the cameras, and you can see that this is obviously a tall object, but whoever shot this one, although they did really good in terms of getting circular rounds and far aways and close-ups, they didn't get high enough on the object, because as you can see, the top is almost all gone. There's almost no detail at all. And now there may be a newer solve of this, but we're just wanting to show this for technique. So.
Ellos están mostrando este objeto que si bien está muy bien hecho, toda la parte circular y el acercamiento, no llegaron lo suficientemente arriba para tomar detalles de la cabeza y está completamente perdida el área de la cabeza. Es lo que están comentando.
Well, so actually we're pulling up, I think that this person may have done another one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
His head looked blocky before.
I think it's so same thing.
Ana Maria, do you know if there's only one Jose Vicente Nucente monument?
You mean in the soft sense? In the photogrammetry zone?
This is the latest one of this. So they did end up getting the back of this one. Scott was just looking at an older solve. This one is fine.
Yeah.
You know, again, any of these heads though they all turned out, you know, really well shot. But if there's any way to go back and put the color checker scale bar on the ground, you know, next to the base of the sculpture and shoot around that area, and you know, including just you know. Give me 100 images of the color checker scale bar plus the surrounding area with overlap so that it can become part of the solve.
Sí, Marinela pregunta si tiene que hacer nuevas tomas. Sí, precisamente ellos están diciendo que sí, que ya en esta segunda imagen que sacaron, pues se dan cuenta que sí tienen los detalles en la cabeza, pero que sin duda hace falta lo del color checker, o sea que tienen que ir y necesariamente hacer otras tomas, sobre todo del área, no es hacerlo completo, sino hacer la parte... la base, ¿no? Entonces, Frank hace una pregunta para tener algo más claro respecto a los detalles y la toma de la mano. Frank, hazla directamente acá. Déjame quitarte el mute. Ajá.
Sí, fíjate, ya tenemos claro que una vez que hagamos una vuelta, terminamos con una toma a nuestra mano, ¿verdad? En el caso de los detalles de, digamos, la pieza que mostraron hace rato de las manos, habría que comenzar el detalle con una toma de la mano y finalizar con una toma de la mano para que el software entienda que es solo un detalle.
Okay. So he's asking about the details. So if he's gonna shoot the details about the hand, does he start with the picture of with a shot of the hand and then do the detail and then another picture of the hand? My understanding that he has to start with broad.
Start big. Start with the whole object, and then start moving in. You know, you want to have, when you're moving in, you still want succession of those images. So you still want to, if I shoot something here, I'm going to move in like this. I don't want to shoot something here and then move in way over here. You know, to where those two images are never going to align. I want to shoot here and then move in and then move in and then move in and move in and move in.
Yeah, it's when, yeah.
But does he have to start with the hand or not? Just end with
no.
No,
he can start with the overall and then work his way into the hand, and then he wants to work his way out.
I think this is the concept, and let me know if I'm wrong, Krista. The concept that we want to convey, I think probably, you know, just as important as the color checker and everything else, the idea with photogrammetry is contiguousness. So correlation. So every photo has to correlate with the previous one. And I know that we've talked the overlap. So exactly. So it's all about the overlap. So I know that we've talked in great detail when we first started, Ana Maria, about kind of creating, remember we were talking about the snake where we were like, go across and down and over. And then now we're talking a lot about circles, and we're also talking about going in and out. Imagine that, like, when you're going in and out, each time you're still getting 2/3 overlap, right? Because you're shooting here and then you're shooting here, and each photo is getting 2/3 overlap, whether it be side to side, top to bottom, in any plane in space, in any of the 3 dimensions. Every shot needs to have 2/3 overlap from the previous shot. So if somebody wants to start out and shoot the overall of a larger object and they're going around in circles, then at some point they're going to stop and they're going to get closer a little bit more to keep the 2/3 overlap. And then when they get close, then they can do tighter circles around the hand, come back, do a couple, move up a couple notches, and then come in and do circle around the head and come back.
And that entire time you're keeping correlation with the images.
And if for some reason
you don't want to break your correlation.
If you do, that's when you add a hand in to say, I broke my correlation, I need to do another solve. But only if you can't do it, only if something happened, like there was something in the way, an object in the way, or it's another day, or you got scuttled away because of other issues. Lunch.
Ajá. Ellos están explicando que la forma de hacer detalles no necesariamente tiene que ser interrumpida y hacer fotos de mano, ¿no? Supongamos que quieres hacer la foto de una mano de una pieza, de una escultura. O sea, lo importante es que siempre exista correlación, y la correlación, o sea, es decir, que sean elementos, que sean fotografías continuas y haya continuidad con lo que se está viendo antes. Es decir, si tú estás haciciendo, tienes hacer las fotografías alrededor, haces otra, y quieres ir un detalle, caminas unos pasos hacia adelante, foto, tomas foto del detalle, te vas para arriba, fotos del otro detalle, para acá, es decir, que siempre exista como o sea, para donde te estés moviendo, solo si se rompe la continuidad de las imágenes es donde se coloca la mano. Si no hay, tú puedes perfectamente ir a entrar, salir, moverte de un lado hacia el otro, siempre que haya la correlación. Solo se coloca la mano, cuando se interrumpe, cuando vas a otro día, cuando te detienes por alguna razón, pero mientras tengas esa continuidad, no hace falta colocar la mano, pues, ¿no?
So does everybody understand that concept?
¿Todo el mundo entiende los conceptos? ¿Alguna duda adicional?
No, por aquí ya estamos claros. Era la duda que tenía, justo quedó bien explicada.
Perfect, they're clear. So.
Okay, great. So one other, I just want to very quickly show this sculpture. I'm not sure who shot it offhand. You know, they did the shooting in a circular pattern and everything. One of the things that didn't happen with this one is kind of shooting to get details of the underneath section of the object. And you can see here the
estamos hablando que faltaron, que está muy bien, pero faltaron detalles de la parte inferior para que se pueda ver los detalles de la escultura abajo.
And so basically, in going back to reshoot this with, you know, for any reason to get the scale bars, I would recommend also getting some detail shots of the sculpture closer up, including shooting up into the upper sections, so we can get a good solve of the belly section and the breasts, and the child and the legs of the child.
Pero cuando vuelvan I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Cuando vuelvan a tomar las fotografías con la escala y el color checker para esta imagen que les hace falta, tomen unas imágenes adicionales de la barriga, del pecho y también de las piernas del bebé para completarlo.
If I may add.
Sure.
Una pregunta, en este caso específico, ¿podemos usar flash aquí dentro? Donde en el vientre de la madre, donde no entra la luz, podemos usar flash de relleno, como comentaba hace rato.
So Frank is the one who did this picture. So he's asking if he can use flash because in the lower part there is no light enough.
Sure, as long as he does the fill flat technique. If not, then I would say just bring his ISO exposure up a little higher. Like, I don't know what he had it set at, but that's what he could adjust as well. Set that to a higher ISO so that he is exposing his shots for the shadow areas.
Que sí, que suba, que si lo tienes en modo de relleno, sí, puedes usar el flash, o sino que subas la sensibilidad, el ISO. Tenemos menos de un minuto. ¿Están todos correctos o necesitamos abrir otro meeting? Okay. So we have less than a minute. They are fine with the information given. Do you want to share anything else before we close the meeting?
I will add one quick thing, the 45-degree angles. 45 is not just about the sides, but also the top and the bottom, 45. just to bring that up. I know
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Sure. We've talked in the past about the 45-degree angles, getting things on the sides. If we can if they could do it, not just on the sides, but 45 degrees on the top and the bottom too.
Got it. Ellos hablan que las cosas también es bueno tomar 45 grados y 45 grados, pero no solo lo piensen a los lados, sino también hacia arriba y hacia abajo, o sea, como tomar tomas inclinadas de la imagen, ¿ok?
Thanks everyone. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, everybody should be proud of what they're doing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you.
Ellos están muy orgullosos de todo lo que ustedes están haciendo. Gracias a todos, nosotros también.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Adiós.
Bye.
Bye.
Ella explicó que tenemos que hacer el escáner de los pies.